200 games for Real Madrid. Marcelo, nice turn, nice cross. Benzema, no mistake this time. Brilliant play from Marcelo to find Benzema at the far post. All smiles for Real Madrid. And the breakthrough early, but no, it's been chalked off. Offside. He's offside there. It will be looked at. And Rick looks like that's a good decision.
I think so. It's going to be a tight one, but it did look just about offside. It's brilliant play by Marcelo to whip that in. And a good finish from Benzema, but he is off.
Confirmation from the referee is Isidro Diaz de Mera. That needs for a lengthy review from the bar official Martinez Munuera. And another let off for Eibar. But that's twice now. The first 5 minutes that Karim Benzema very nearly got the opener. They're going to have to take that as a lesson and learn from it.
They're going to have to learn quickly, Andy, because the third opportunity is going to be put in by Karim Benzema. There's no way he's missed the third one.
And then Militao winning a good header. Modric brings it down. Carried on by Lucas Vázquez. Poor ball though, too far ahead of Benzema, couldn't control. There's a fresh air kick from Alex Garcia. Gives possession back to the home side. Casemiro with the cross to Marcelo, who will very much relish his wing-back role. Finds Benzema. Laid back for the shot from Casemiro. Takes the solid block from Sergio Alvarez. Gets back to Courtois. But a very open start, Rick.
Very open, and I think Madrid have now taken control. You know, Eibar started well, but Madrid have got the ball and started to create chances at ease almost. And this is good news for Zidane, because I'm sure part of his thinking would have been, are my players going to go out there and concentrate today, knowing that the Liverpool game is coming on Tuesday, knowing the Clasico is coming. And it looks like they are. They look fast and dangerous.
There's Diop in midfield. Over to Pedro Leon, 34-year-old winger who was at Real Madrid around a decade ago. Under Jose management at the club, never really got much of a chance. And he's largely been overlooked by Eibar this season. This is only his 9th start, Pedro Leon. He'd love to prove a point against his former club today. The possession quickly won back here by Real Madrid with Eder Militao to Nacho. Are we entirely sure it is a back three, Rick? At times like now, for example, they're going to a back four with Mendy pushing almost into the left-back position. It's certainly fluid, at least.
Yeah, I think part of that is due to Marcelo's love of rampaging up the left flank, and I think Mendy feels like he should go out to left-back just to cover that space as well.
There's confirmation of the offside against Benzema. He's getting beyond the last defender. Looking for Marcelo down the left. Ale Pozo with the header safely back to his keeper this time. Another aspect of the formation, Rick, is who will be the support striker alongside Benzema. Something we talked about before we came on. Would it be Asensio or Isco? And in the early stages, it looks to be more Isco playing through the middle, with Asensio we can see now on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when Marcelo goes up on the left, Asensio can mirror that on the right to make the formation a bit more symmetrical. And I think it gives Isco a bit more freedom than he would have if he was just in central midfield. It's an interesting one, Isco, because for me, he's lost the shine that he used to have. And this season, he's got 1 assist and no goals, so he's not necessarily the player you'd expect Zidane to pick to help support Benzema in this way.
Yeah, and it would be surprising if he starts any of the big games coming up against League or Barcelona next week in El Clasico. The player that Zidane keeps on going back to, he's never frozen him out. And here's Asensio, finding Marcelo. Casemiro's in the box, goes down. The referee has a look, but doesn't give a penalty. And I think the cross was beyond Casemiro. Wouldn't have got on the end of it anyway. I'm not sure how much contact there was either. But again, Marcelo finding space to get in across.
Another dangerous ball from Marcelo too. I don't think they'll look penalty for this. I mean, there is a bit of holding. Maybe Casemiro will point to that and say, oh, I would have made that ball if I wasn't being pinned back.
Appears there's not going to be a review of that incident, though. But, well, the referee is now just asking Dimitrovic to pause before taking the goal kick, so they are looking at it. How much contact was there from Rafa Suarez? Not enough. Now the review is completed, so no penalty. But Eibar, Rick, will definitely want to review how they are defending Marcelo. 10 minutes in, and already we've seen two very dangerous crosses from the Brazilian, who is so good coming forward. Still, there's never been any doubt about his ability as an attacking fullback. Generally, it's been his defending that's been the issue, but playing in this formation, ideal for him, and he's causing Eibar problems.
Yeah, it's like the magic man for Madrid.
Forward. Still, there's never been any active decision in there as well. Eventually,
Marcelo, I agree, Andy, completely. At left back, he's a disaster for me these days. You can't play him there anymore. But
Real Madrid, one win. Three defeats. So results go well generally with Marcelo in the starting lineup these days, but it's much more to his liking, to his suiting this position, as Modric looks to find him again. Beautiful control. Inside to Isco, trying to get away from Alvarez. Cross is deflected behind for a corner. And at the moment, Rick, 12 minutes played. It looks just a matter of time until Real Madrid open the scoring.
I think so, Andy. It won't be surprised if it's Marcelo providing the assist and Benzema getting the goal.
It's played short for Modric, drills it in low, didn't really connect cleanly. Cleared away, Mendy will get there comfortably ahead of Hill.
Mendy's done okay as a centre-back. It's not his natural position, but he's been used there a bit by Zidane. Doesn't look entirely comfortable, but generally done pretty well from that position. You have to wonder if in the big games ahead, Zidane will stick with him centre-back and keep playing Marcelo now, because he's playing very well today.
Yeah, it's a conundrum facing Zidane, who has moved. Casemiro with a powerful header to win the ball back away from Kike. Here's Marcelo again getting into space. Nice pass on to Isco. Benzema has pulled away to the left. Asensio is going through the middle, so to Isco. Benzema back for Marcelo. Another good cross just beyond Asensio this time, and the flag has gone up for offside again. And Eibar's liking for a high defensive line is leaving them exposed at times, as it generally does. A brave way of playing. There's an interested onlooker, Sergio Ramos.
Keep it in the Champions League for when he gets back.
Certainly for the title race, they'll have to avoid defeat next week at home against Barcelona. Third place at the moment, Real Madrid 6 points behind Atletico. With 10 games to go, they've got a lot to do. As we see here, the formation of Eibar, the 4-3-3 shape. Lucas Vazquez. Look at all that space for Marcelo to control. Inside, looking for Modric. Poor pass this time. Cut out by Alex Garcia. And now there's space for Kike. Down the left, taking on Nacho. Holds it up for Gil, now moves into the middle. Nacho, Lucas Vazquez, I think it was, actually getting the tackle in, sending it behind for a corner, but A reminder for Real Madrid not to get complacent there, because Kike found space down the left rather too easily.
Yeah, and he's got a brilliant goal from nothing against Real Madrid in the first game between these teams from distance. He's always going to be the threat for Eibar along with Hill, those two combining there.
Yeah, that goal that you mentioned, the long-range strike, really out of keeping. Kike is brilliant in the air. That's his main route of scoring goals. And there's the header, this time from Paulo Oliveira, central defender at the far post. A little disappointed with himself, thinks he could have made more of that, as he peeled away into a bit of space, but well off the mark.
It's a bit difficult to head that back towards goal when you're running away from goal.
Luka Modric. Classy step over to get away from Alex Garcia. Ball reaches Isco. And now Lucas Vázquez switching it out for Marcelo, who for once was being closed down quickly by Porto. Challenged him as the ball dropped. Out for the throw. Now Mendy. Modric with a bit of space to pull the strings in midfield. Looks as ever to Marcelo, who must have had more touches than anyone else in these opening stages. This time they go to the right for Lucas Vázquez. Support from Asensio. Back for Modric. Swept over for Marcelo. Lovely layoff for Benzema. Probing around the edge of the area. And Casemiro trying the inside pass that's cut out by Diop. And Nacho's ball forward out for throw-in.
That's one of those spells that I mentioned earlier that Mendilibar was worried about, when Madrid just let quality take over and play, keep the ball, switch it about, try and break through the defence. It was a fantastic pass from Modric out to Marcelo on the left, and he cut it back to Benzema so quickly and carefully. That's how Madrid can slice you open.
This time Mendy comes forward with Marcelo staying back. Casemiro. Header away by Anaid Sabia, by Brian Hill. Nice ball inside to Alex Garcia. Sergio Alvarez. Pedro Leon just squeezes the pass away to Alec Pod. Looking for Hill at the far post. Bad control, but he was under pressure from Lucas Vázquez. And that's maybe, Rick, the concern about Brian Hill. He's been highly touted this season, one of the wonder kids of Spanish football, made his international debut at the during the international break, but he's frail, he's small and doesn't have much strength, and the challenge there from Lucas Vázquez, an example of the kind of way that he can be forced off the ball a little too easily. He'll have to work on developing his upper body strength.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen there are players like Lionel Messi who are small, but they're certainly not weak. They're strong, and players just bounce off them. And Hill is in the same kind of frame as Messi in the way he runs with the ball and dribbles. And I think that he's going to have to take a leaf out of Messi's book and just put a little bit and just get a bit stronger to bounce off the defenders when they challenge.
Here's Arbia taking on the shot from his own half, and it's an audacious but not bad attempt at all. It goes wide in the.
There's that challenge on Hill.
I mean, it wasn't easy for him, was it?
No. But that's the challenge that he's got to face now. That's the next step for Hill, is to get a little bit stronger. He doesn't have to become, a big and strong guy. I don't think that's ever going to happen anyway, but just to deal with those kind of tackles.
Lucas Vázquez with the cross, cleared as far as Modric. Casemiro from Mendy, and Marcelo. Back to Mendy. Benzema dropping deep. There's no presence in the penalty area for Real Madrid, but they switch it over to the right for Lucas Vázquez, who's got away from Gil, but he battled back well, only though having committed a foul that is also going to earn him the first yellow card of the game. Referee Isidro Díaz de Mera, initially trying to allow advantage, but when there was none, this tug back has been penalised, and you can't really have any complaints.
Yeah, that's fair enough, because Vázquez was getting in behind him.
So the 5th yellow card of the season for Hill, which means he will be suspended from their next game, which is at home to Levante. That's a blow for Eibar. For now, they have to focus on defending this free kick that Marco Asensio is looking to deliver. He'll swing it in towards the far post to get a glancing touch. Maybe even he'll shoot. He does shoot. It hits the bar. Comes out to Isco. Oh, another beautiful nutmeg from Isco. Now Casemiro with the shot that is blocked. And Eibar survive. What a try by Asensio. Foul by Casemiro. And that will stop the pressure. But brilliant attempt by Asensio. Certainly got that capability to score from that position.
A fantastic effort, and it's in an interesting position where the goalkeeper's not sure whether Asensio is going to shoot or cross it, so he can't set himself one way or the other, and Asensio nearly found that top corner.
And there's no doubt he meant it. That wasn't a miss-hit cross.
No chance. Yeah, he's a really good long-range shooter, Marco Asensio.
So approaching the midway point of the opening period, Real Madrid very much on top, but haven't been able to find the breakthrough yet. They've had a goal from Karim Benzema disallowed for offside. A one-on-one for Benzema, saved by Marko Dimitrovic. That effort against the bar. Plenty of pressure, but no opening goal yet. And Eibar can only really be relieved about that because they haven't really been able to assert themselves in this game yet. Another nutmeg. There's been nutmegs galore in the last few minutes. 2 from Isco. Another one from Modric there. It was fouled by Diop. Play restarts and Asensio runs towards goal. Inside for Marcelo. Further position though. But the pressure continuing. Eibar have survived it so far, but I don't really think that they could if the flow of the game continues like this. It's hard to see Eibar escaping with anything.
Madrid have come here with the intention of getting the 3 points, and there's no chance they're going to switch off. They look good to me today.
Yeah, there have been games this season when they've dropped points, where from the opening whistle they've been sloppy and well below their best, not creating any goal threat, gaps at the back. But it's not been that way today. It's been a bright start from Los Blancos.
And it can be difficult when you bring in lots of players who don't normally play, like Marcelo, Isco, Militao, to lose your concentration.
Benzema and Marcelo trying to combine down the left. Very attacking role for the skipper Marcelo today.
I really hope that the last year or two of Marcelo's career at Madrid doesn't reflect really on how people think of him, because for much of the time he's been in the club, he's been phenomenal.
Pedro Leon getting down the right. It was an unusual ball that bounced almost rugby style, like it was playing for possession, but for position I should say. But Leon was able to keep it in and even win the corner. Eibar do have plenty of good aerial threats, particularly Kike. Oliveira and Darby are the 2 centre-backs, haven't yet scored this season. Pedro Leon with the corner. Away by Eder Militao. Drops to Marcelo. Now Lucas Vázquez, Casemiro, Asensio classily playing their way out. Benzema. To the run of Isco. Excellent counter-attack. Will there be end product? Luka Modric. Back to Isco. Modric for Lucas Vázquez. 3 in the middle, waiting for the cross. Laid back for Casemiro, and that's a poor ball from him. Meat and drink for Dimitrovic, who's very safe handling the ball on crosses like that.
Disappointing ending to the move. Casemiro's crossing has never been the greatest string to his bow, but it was a nice break from Madrid, and they worked the ball so well, dragged Eibar over to the left and then flipped it back to the right where Vázquez was free. Very nice bit of football.
But I'm sure Mendilibar, the Eibar coach we see on the sidelines there, pointing and shouting, he won't be at all happy with how easily Eibar let Real Madrid switch play from one end to the other.
I think Eibar's pressing has not as good as normal today, and I think the reason for that is
here's Isco trying to prove exactly that point, getting into space. And sorry to interrupt there, Rick, but there's a threat from Isco, and really, as you were saying it, proving the point that Real Madrid just almost walked their way forward there. There was not even the hint of a tackle, and Mendilibar, as you can see, is far from happy with the way his team are playing.
I think part of the reason that it's been harder for Eibar today is the way Madrid their players have not stuck to the roles that you might expect them to. Modric often comes back quite deep and collects the ball between the centre-backs, which makes it hard for the visitors to press him, and then Casemiro often is further up the pitch than you might expect. Marcelo is, like you said earlier, one of the furthest forward in attack. So it's harder for Eibar to cope with Madrid when they don't really know where the players are supposed to be.
Grumpy Mendilibar for sure on the bench, but yeah, perhaps there's some uncertainty among the Eibar players as to how they should press. And exactly as you say, because they wouldn't have expected to see this Real Madrid personnel or formation. Really got to grips with it yet. And they're fortunate, really, still to be on level terms. As the cross comes in, doesn't find Kike. Diop on the edge of the area for Gil. Now this could be a threat. One-on-one against Lucas Vázquez. Laid back for Rafa. Diop again. Struggled to control, and Casemiro sees as an invitation to step in. Forces it further back. But at least for Eibar, there's a bit of sustained possession now, something they have rarely had today. Anait Zarbia, central defender. Real Madrid taking a chance to rest a little collectively. Here's a ball for Kike to run onto. Tries to buy the free kick and does so successfully. I think he was just waiting for the contact there from Nacho, and when he felt it, down he went.
It's a soft free kick to give away. Like you say, Andy, very experienced play from Kike. Knew exactly what he was doing to win that.
Don't think he much appreciated the prolonged challenge from Nacho either. Pedro Leon will have another dead ball delivery. And Kike will be his main target.
It's a shame for Eibar that a couple of their centre-backs who have scored this season aren't on the pitch today. Big Ass and...
Here's the cross coming in. Casemiro gets it away. The counter-attack doesn't this time pay off for Real Madrid. Casemiro makes another challenge. They are missing a few players, Eibar.
Yeah, Big Ass and Esteban Burgos, they've both got 3 goals each for Eibar this season.
Also missing the midfielder Edu Exposito, who's a regular starter, Yoshimoto, the Japanese striker, and Robert Correa, fullback. Pedro Leon back to Ali Porto. Paulo Oliveira. Rather aimless ball forward, easily cut out by Nacho. Mendy. Casemiro from Modric. Turns away brilliantly from 2 challenges. I think that was another nutmeg as well. Nutmeg pass that time to Isco, but Eibar win it back. And Mendy with the challenge on Pedro Leon.
But come on, that's another example of why it's so hard to press Real Madrid when Modric can just beat through him like that. It's a remarkable play from Modric in midfield.
As though there was nobody there. Still goalless. And it's been a little bit more comfortable for Eibar in the last few minutes. Up towards Kike, excellent leap from Eder Militao. Not easy to beat Kike in the air. He's one of the best aerial targets in La Liga. Perhaps up alongside Joselu of Alaves. His ability to win those long balls forward and flick it on or link up with his teammates, but he's been well marshalled today. Here's a run for Ali Porto, gets away from Nacho, takes on the shot, and it flashes wide across the face of goal. speculative effort from Ale Ponzo, and maybe he would have been better served trying to find a teammate rather than trying to beat Thibaut Courtois from there.
Maybe saw the headlines there. Ponzo, it's better from him though, because he's been probably the weakest link at the back for Eibar in this game.
Hasn't scored yet this season. Player who, like Brian Hill, is on loan from Sevilla. There's Lucas Vavkev. Aria steps in. Brian Hill wins it ahead of, I think it was Casemiro who challenged him and went down. A misplaced pass from Rafa. Runs through to Courtois. Mendy. Eibar trying to press now. You see 4 players, now 5 of them, all around the Real Madrid penalty area. That is the trademark of how Eibar like to play. Stop their opponents from building up easily. Casemiro still mumbling away about that challenge that he got from Brian Hill a minute ago, which it's a good job the referee didn't see it as a foul, because Hill has already been booked as well. It's Asensio. Marcelo gets it back from Isco, sweeps it beautifully out to Lucas Vazquez. 4 in the middle. Cross though is met by Arbia. Eder Militao down to Marcelo, and now Asensio. Cross deflect in. Rafa Suarez didn't quite know how to deal with it. Volleys it away safely enough in the end though. Here's Pedro Leon. Sending it long, but Nacho in full control of the situation. Mendy on to Modric. Real Madrid have some absentees, in case you're not already aware. Sergio Ramos, of course, is missing. Eden Hazard continuing his recuperation from his latest injury as well. Dani Carvajal remains absent, and Fede Valverde. So those 4 out. But some good news for Real Madrid, Rick, is that Toni Kroos has come back more quickly than expected. And you see again, this was a challenge from Brian Hill that wasn't whistled as a free kick on Casemiro. Hill already on a yellow card.
You can see why Casemiro is annoyed, because it would have hurt that, having his studs raked over his foot. And if the ref had, wouldn't be a surprise if Hill had been sent on.
A bit of a let-off for the youngster. Just going back to Toni Kroos on the bench, Rick. Interesting to see him on there. I think we'd all more or less written him off from this game, but he's recovered more quickly than expected from the Norim miss international duty with Germany. And the fact that he's on the bench today suggests he'll be fine for Liverpool in midweek.
You expect so, yeah, and he'll do anything to play in that game, Kroos. It was a thigh injury, which is hard for players to manage.
It's so important, Toni Kroos, setting the tempo in midfield as Marcelo with the long ball, looking for Casemiro, who again was playing almost as a centre forward there, beyond his run. Just lost their way a little, Real Madrid here, Rick.
I think they started at such a fast pace, it was hard for them to maintain that. Take a little breather now, and they'll probably look to finish the half strongly as well.
Other options on the bench for Zinedine Zidane today include the 2 Brazilian wingers. As Eder Militao slips, unable to get back on his feet to find Courtois. Uncertain moments at the back. Real Madrid do get it away in the end to Asensio, holds off the challenge. Back to Courtois again. As I was saying, the substitutes for Real Madrid, Rodrigo and Vinicius, both on the bench, as is Toni Kroos, Mariano, Alvaro Odriozola, and Rafa Varane rested today.
I think we might see Vinicius at some point. He always makes things happen, so if Madrid need a goal, they won't hesitate to chuck him in.
Lucas Vazquez down the right-hand side. Asensio and Benzema are in the middle. Marcelo joining as well now. Laid back to the edge for Isco, and there's a flick from Asensio. That is the opening goal. What clever play from Marco Asensio. Beautifully finished improvisation. And there comes the breakthrough. It will be reviewed because he was coming back from what looked possibly like an offside position. For now, though, it's 1-0 to Real Madrid.
Phenomenal finish from Asensio. It will go down as one of the best finishers of the season. Took that so well.
It was a miss hit really from Isco, wasn't it? Certainly no problem with the offside flag there as Lucas Vazquez gets away. He had the vision to pick out Isco. And let's see. I think he's offside.
Yeah, it looks like that might get ruled out. Such a nice finish from Asensio. Through the legs of Dimitrovic.
The shot from Isco was probably going wide, wasn't it?
Yeah, Isco didn't catch it well at all, like the other shot he had earlier. But Asensio so quick to react.
At the moment, he has his 4th goal of the season, but it will be being viewed by Martinez Manuera, who confirms it is offside. Quick first look he had at it did make it appear that it was going to be a fairly straightforward review. Another offside goal ruled out for Real Madrid. There it is. He didn't get back quickly. Just.
Shame for Asensio, but another warning for Eibar, who have now had 2 goals against them ruled out for offside. Both correctly, I think it hasn't been too controversial.
No need for the millimetric lines there. Just clear even to the naked eye, as with the first one on Benzema. Kike able to fashion the cross in, but harmlessly through to Courtois.
It's not what you want to see. Keep in the middle, getting the cross.
Isco quickly on to Marcelo. Looking for his options. Plays it simply back to Casemiro. 3 offsides against Real Madrid. 2 of them saw the ball in the back of the net. Lovely control from Isco, stepping inside now. Lovely back heel for Marcelo. Wins the corner. Been some bright moments from Isco.
Yeah, seeing him and Marcelo combining like that takes me back to the days where Madrid won the double, Champions League and La Liga. And those 2 are both key in that season.
Absolutely. That was probably Isco's best spell for Real Madrid, 2017. Here's his corner. Headed in by Eder Militao, but couldn't get firm enough contact and it drifts wide.
And actually, he did play a lot of that season up front with Cristiano Ronaldo after Gareth Bale was pushed out of the team by Zidane. That's kind of where he's operated today, like you pointed out earlier, Andy.
Yeah, and that's the role the role that suits him best, isn't it? Where he can have a bit of freedom, try to get between the lines of midfield and defence, and link up with Benzema or the wingers coming forward. Often he's had to play wide, which doesn't suit him as much. Here's Brian Hill. Turning into space, but a poor pass, and look how frustrated he is with himself because he knew there was an opportunity there for Eibar to create something, which they haven't done yet. Thibaut Courtois has not been tested in this game, and Brian Hill should have made more of that.
Yeah, I won't go as far as saying that was a chance, but it was certainly a chance to create a chance, which really, they haven't got into too many positions, Eibar, in this game to do that.
So that's one of the best positions they've found so far. Mendy coming forward, swapping positions briefly with Marcelo. And that's one thing that you lose with this formation. With Mendy playing as a 3rd central defender, he can't come forward as much, and he is so good at that. Now here's Asensio. Can he finish? Yes, he can, and this time it will count. Beautifully swept home by Marco Asensio. Took the ball in his stride, and it's 3rd time lucky for Real Madrid. 2 goals disallowed for offside. This one won't be. 5 minutes before the break, now they are ahead, and Asensio has the goal that Real Madrid deserve.
They absolutely deserve it, Andy. It's a great finish by Asensio and a really nice burst of steal the ball. Casemiro won it back and just fed it through. Just whipped past the defender with that initial burst and tucked it in the corner. Perfect.
The first touch, so important, just set himself up. Meant that he didn't have to take another touch. The ball was just there to be struck. Slipped slightly as he hit it, but that didn't stop him from finding the back of the net. But hugely frustrating for Eibar, because it came after Diop gave away on the halfway line. His pass was easily cut out by Casemiro, and Eibar will feel that they contributed to their own demise there.
Yeah, it was poor from Diop, and that's the thing with Casemiro. We've seen in the last few years how he's become an important attacking player for Madrid, and that through ball, he wouldn't have been able to make a through ball like that 4 or 5 seasons ago, but now it's just part of his game.
There's a confirmation of the offside for the previous goal. As Isco hit it, Asensio was off, but no question of anything being wrong with the one that finally did count. As Asensio gets his 4th goal of the season. Eibar trying to press high up the field, but it's worked away, and Benzema beautifully controls and links up with Vázquez. Worrying for Eibar, Brian Hill, there on the halfway line, limping pretty heavily.
I think they'll just want to get him in to half-time and then have a look at him and make sure he can come out for the second half.
Certainly a goal down, they won't want to lose their main creative threat. Well, it's been a disappointing first half from Eibar. They've been suspect defensively, lucky to survive as long as they did without conceding, and they've offered very little going forward, and easy to see, although of course away at Real Madrid is not an easy game, but easy to see from this performance why they are down where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even Hill, who's probably their most creative player, like you say, is struggling.
Took a firm challenge there from Lucas Vázquez. Got the ball first, send it out for the throw-in. Not sure he made any contact with Brian Hill there. It was a very robust tackle, you could say.
Maybe Hill was just feeling that earlier knock he appeared to have. Just didn't appreciate the fact that he was going to have to dodge out of the way of that tackle.
Alex Garcia, recent signing for Eibar, the former Girona player. There's Takeanui warming up, the Japanese international who's had a really disappointing season, hence he's not in the starting lineup today, but he would be an obvious option for Mendilibar from the bench if they want to change things. Courtois put under pressure, and he doesn't like that. That is an area of weakness for Courtois. When he's pressed on the ball, he doesn't have the composure or the quality on the ball of the likes of Ter Stegen to play his way out.
He's improving, I think, Courtois at that, but it's not what it's not what he wants really. He's going to have to learn how to deal with it, because that's football these days.
Suarez with the cross down to Kike. Now Diop hits it well, but straight at Courtois. The first time he's been forced into a really meaningful save, Courtois, just before half-time, and Diop hit that with a lot of power, and had it not been straight at Courtois, could have caused him problems.
Like Asensio, Diop just slipped as he hit it, and maybe he would have been able to direct it a bit better if he hadn't.
Last few seconds of normal time at the end of the first half. We'll probably have at least a minute added on for the VAR reviews that saw Real Madrid's goals disallowed for offside. But so far, so good from the reigning champions. Is a game that they would look at, and certainly their fans would look at, as one that should be a routine home win. This will decide whether they will win the title, but it's the kind of game where they could lose the title.
Sure,
they didn't come out
very similar to that, to his players before they came out for this one. And like I said at the start, I think Madrid are going to see this last period of the season, this last 10 games, as they saw it last season after the restart. Focus on these games, win every one, and they'll have a chance of winning the title.
Well, they've done their job so far, and they're not finished yet for this first half. Vázquez sends in the cross, isn't going to reach Benzema as Arbia gets it away as far as Casemiro. Switched over for Marcelo, one of best players of the first half. He's going to take on Porto. One last chance to get a cross in. And that deflects behind for a corner, which there may not be time to take. We've reached the 1 minute of added time. The referee is going to allow Isco to take it. It'll have to be quickly. I wouldn't advise a short corner from Isco. Well, that was a bit of a waste from Isco. Time's up, and it was just time to take it, but when they took it short, no time for anything else. But they do have the lead. This excellent goal from Marco Asensio, and the lead that Real Madrid very much deserve.
Yeah, they're good value for it. Could be 1 goal, could be 2 goals, could be 3 goals. You expect them to add to their lead in the second half unless Eibar really change things around, because they've been poor today.
So Marko Dimitrovic has had to retrieve the ball from his net on 3 occasions. The first 2, the offside decision saved his team, but it was that strike from Asensio that did count and leads to this scoreline. At the break, Real Madrid 1, Eibar 0. Yes, just the 1 goal. Predictions were a little different. Peter Reid said 3-0, said 2-0 in this game. Obviously, Kevin not as confident at the moment as we've seen him in recent weeks and months. I'm not sure why. How are you feeling now, Kevin, at this particular point in the game? Confident or otherwise?
Very confident, Joe. Very confident. The back, and with Luka Modric, that midfield, they really played well, I thought. And just for a few inches here and there, you know, this game could have been wrapped up already. But they have got the lead for a well-taken Asensio goal. But I expect there to be more goals, Joe.
I know this is a football show, Kevin Campbell, but I want to do a quick fire quiz for you. Do they win this game, yes or no?
Yes.
Do they knock Liverpool out of the UEFA Champions League, yes or no?
Yes.
Do Real Madrid win the El Clasico, yes or no?
Yes.
Do Real Madrid win the league, yes or no?
I want them to, Joe, but I think it's too much to make up at the moment. So no.
It's a yes or no question, Kevin Campbell.
I just said no.
Thank you. That's all I want. We may now continue our assessment of that first half. Asensio's goal, Peter, it was coming, wasn't it?
Yes, watching the game, Real Madrid in charge. The disappointing thing from Eibar's point of view, they got possession, I think they are, but Casemiro reads it great ball, and Asensio sticks it away superbly. I'm not sure about the defending, but what a great finish, and it's only what Real Madrid deserves.
And the other goals, or the disallowed goals, to be more specific, Peter, were there any doubts for you?
No, header was absolutely magnificent. But you've got to stay on sides, especially with the VAR now. You don't get away with anything. But look at it, the quality of this. I mean, not even look. Yeah, he's just gone early, but what a great cross.
Marcelo is a better wing-back, or even a better winger than he is a full-back.
I think he's better going forward, yes. I mean, hey, listen, he's been a great player, and as we know, he's been a tremendous left-back. His defensive side nowadays, I think, is something to be desired. But when you talk about getting forward in that wing-back position, I tell you what, he does it as well as anybody.
One thing I did, apart from the fact that they were offside, did like was the speed with which the decisions were made. There was not this long, drawn-out process of humming and hawing and dilly-dallying that we normally see from referees.
No, but Joe, they moved quickly and got it right because they were just offside. Fair play to the officials and the VAR people on the monitors, etc. I've got to say, Benzema, when he got that back, if he passed it to Asensio, that's a guaranteed goal. Those are maybe some of these little things against Liverpool could prove to be a game changer. Because once you get, if somebody's your back pass there, you've got to make sure you score. So that's one little criticism of Benzema today. But apart from that, they did get the decisions right.
So for you, yes, no. Yeah, I just want to put it to the people, and honesty is going to be questioned here. 70% of you say yes, they were offside. 30% of you say no. Ooh. Dishonesty. There's dishonesty in that, I have to say. Just going back to those the offside decisions in particular. Do you think that maybe it was just a little bit of that post-international break hangover from the players, having not trained together and played together a lot, plus this team that's been put out today, Kevin?
You can say that, Joe, but listen, attacking crosses, playing at the top end of the pitch, you know you have to get onside. If you stray or if you're lazy, you know, you're offside. And Benzema, like any good striker does, he knows where he's going. He goes early. He's just expecting the cross to come and maybe a fraction earlier so he can make up the ground and head. He was offside there. And Asensio just coming back, was a slow coming back. But if Eibar defend the same in the second half, they're going to get punished a lot more.
Okay, we saw Casemiro go down in the penalty area, Peter. Was it a penalty?
I think there was a coming together, but not a penalty. Just straight run forward, but there is contact, but not a penalty.
Now, from this angle, it's not really that clear, is it, Kevin? But when you see it from this angle, it's very different.
Joe, I keep hearing this Peter Reid talk about coming together. He's holding him. What are you talking about? Coming together. He's holding him. He's got away with that one, Joe. But we have seen them given, haven't we? People holding in the box, turns him as well. You know, I've seen them given. For me, that's a penalty, Joe. But look, he's grabbed him. That ain't a coming together. What is Peter Reid talking about, Joe? Please, how is that coming together?
Kevin, I really don't. Come on then, Peter, just how you see that as not a penalty. You said coming together. What do you mean by that?
Because they've come together, there's contact there, but he hasn't pulled them down. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's VAR there. Well, if they thought it was a penalty, I'm sure they'd have gone up theirs. But no, he's just dived, as usual, in the white shirt. Just like the one he got in El Clasico, when Ramos threw himself to the ground. But fortunately, we've got a good referee today.
Addy says, I hope the sun shines on Real Madrid all week. This is in reference, if you missed us before kickoff, this is in reference to the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final against Liverpool, and it's also in reference to the Clasico, which comes the following weekend. Yes, the Clasico is on its way. It's not in reference, as Addy also points out, to the sun that's shining on Kevin's head. Yes, absolutely right. It is clearly a sunny in Manchester, is it not?
Lovely lovely, Joe. It's beautiful here.
Look at that, eh? Look at that. Ayush says Joe is looking so friendly after the international break. No, I'm not. There is.
Live a season without a script, improvised by protagonists who rehearse non-stop. It's not fiction, it's not a thriller, it's something much bigger. And after 90 seasons, the excitement is still intact in La Liga Santander and La Liga Smart Bank. It's not football, it's La Liga.
So Real Madrid are halfway there to picking up the 3 points today. The goal from Marco Asensio giving them the lead here, well deserved. And they've got 45 minutes now to bench, and probably Rick Sharma alongside me, they will feel that they can't really play worse than they did in the first half.
Absolutely, Andy. The only way for them to do that would be to actually let in more goals than just the one they got away with in the first half. I think Real Madrid, on the other hand, they at times have dropped off in second halves, lost their concentration a bit. So again, that'll be Zidane here just to make sure they keep playing at the level they did in the first half and hold off any last-ditch Eibar attempts to get a goal.
So Real Madrid with the early possession at the back, and they're in no hurry to bring the ball forward initially. There has been a change at the break for Eibar, with Take Inui coming on in the left wing position in place of Brian Hill. And we don't know whether that is as a result of injury. He was limping towards the end of the first half, or maybe disciplinary concern, as the guys talked about during the half-time break. He was on a yellow card, but he isn't out there now. There's Inui in the number 14 shirt replacing him.
It could be a bit of one from column A, one from column B, really. It wasn't a great half by Hill, and he'll be disappointed with it. Like you said in the first half, Andy, Inui hasn't had a great season, but he does have a lot of quality. We've seen him in the past have big performances against Madrid and Barcelona, so he'll be looking to put things right today.
Inui has started most games this season, 20 starts for him, but only 1 goal and no assists, which is very disappointing from an attacking player. Generally plays on the right-hand side with Hill on the left, but he's over on the left now, that being the only change that has been made so far. They do have a few forwards well, with Quique González, also Sergi Enrique, and a youngster as well. And be luck here, because this young player who on the bench for Eibar today has 19 letters in his second name. I'll say it in a minute, but here's Real Madrid, Lucas Vázquez, with 3 in the middle, and he takes on the shots himself, and Dimitrovic almost spilled that, but he was able to gather it at the second attempt. The first goal threat from Los Blancos in the second half. Lucas Vázquez, don't see him taking on many shots with his left foot, Rick.
No, certainly not. And actually, in this game, he's been quite restrained, perhaps because Marcelo has been piling forward on the other flank. Normally, it's Vázquez who's the fullback who gets the chance to go forward more because he's naturally a winger.
There's a foul here conceded by Casemiro on Ale Porto, who's gone down holding his mouth. And look at the sweet innocence on the face of Casemiro.
To be fair to him, I mean, he's often involved in challenges where he does deliberately leave a body part in, but in that case, I think it was an accident. I don't think he knew too much about it, Casemiro.
Got a considerable size advantage on Ale Porto, both in terms of height and muscularity. And the young fullback felt the force of it there. Well, I promised I'd say this name. I'm going to get it out of the way now. Unai Arrieta Leanes Beasco is the young substitute that Eibar have. Fortunately, he's normally known by his first name, Unai. So I'm happy to stick with that, Rick, if you are.
Sounds good to me, Andy. You deserve a round of applause. That was perfect.
Free kick swung in, but easily gathered by Courtois. No changes yet from Real Madrid, as mentioned in the first half. Rodrigo and Vinicius, and Toni Kroos are the subs available to Zidane.
It's a big game this for Asensio because he's scored in his last 2, both off the bench, so that's 3 and 3 for him, and he's earned this start, and he's trying to keep his place in the team ahead of Vinicius. If Zidane keeps this 2 up front, there's only 1 spot available for either Vinicius or Asensio. Certainly staked his claim for it today.
Yeah, and Rodrigo as well, although he would be more likely to play down the right-hand side. But there isn't an obvious partner, is there? There's no one who has had such a good season that if you're going to play a 5-3-2, you would say, well, it has to be Benzema and player X. It's open.
For sure. I mean, it's a system that Eden Hazard would work well in if he was fit, if he was in form, which he is neither of those things at the moment, although he has been training this week, so he might reappear in the next few games.
For how long will be the question. That's harsh, but it's easy to be cynical about Hazard, the terrible time he's had so far. Let's all just hope that better times around the corner for him.
Absolutely, he was one of my favourite players to watch when he was at Chelsea in England, and just such a shame he's not been able to hit the ground running at any point in La Liga.
Casemiro goes over, wins the free kick. The challenge from Pape Diop was firm enough to force the whistle. And here's Asensio dropping into a bit of space. Alvarez falling over in his attempt to pursue Asensio, then a bit sloppy with the pass, nearly cut out by Alex Garcia, but they have it back. And it's with Isco. Modric. Benzema, clever dummy. Modric picks it up. Isco for Nacho. Now worked over to Marcelo. Mendy is forward. The cross is a brilliant one for Isco, who can't quite bring it down. Maybe caught in 2 minds whether to steer it goalwards first time or try and control it, and he didn't do either, but that's a brilliant pass from Marcelo.
Absolutely phenomenal cross from Marcelo, a real waste from Isco. I think you're right, Andy, he had that decision to make and he didn't really make it.
A bit tentative, wasn't it, the way he tried to control it?
I think he's low on confidence. He hasn't scored all season for Madrid.
Nicely done again by Marcelo and Benzema to find Asensio, who goes for the long-range left-footed strike. Really well saved by Marco Dimitrovic, but Marco Asensio looking to underline a sensation that he is finding his top form. Really good effort.
Been too long since we've seen Asensio playing with this kind of vim.
He's forced the corner that will take. Headed away. Asensio can pick it up. Modric looks for the 1-2 and then gets the shot away. Decent block, but again, that Eibar defence is being stretched. Madrid finding their way into shooting positions without too much difficulty at the moment.
They've picked up where they left off in the first half, Madrid.
As have, regrettably from their point of view, Eibar. Still not much kind of resistance from them. They're not looking in this game like a team that are fighting for their lives. And they've got a really tough run in as well. The games ahead of them will not be in position. A couple of weeks to travel to Atletico Madrid. They also have to play Real Sociedad soon. Last game of the season is against Barcelona, who of course will be hoping to be fighting for the title. It's looking pretty bleak for Eibar at the moment. Needed this save from Dimitrovic to keep them in contention here.
He's one of the few players that's pulling his weight for Eibar, Dimitrovic. And we were saying before the show, Andy, we were saying, you said to me that you thought Eibar were going down probably, and I said, no, I think they're going to be good enough to stay up. But actually on this showing, I won't be surprised at all if they go down. It's been really poor from them today.
Yeah, more confident in my assertion since I made it to you in that chat from the way they've played today. But there is time. Moment, that looks like it's going to be time for Real Madrid to extend their lead. Here they come again. Asensio across the face of goal, too heavy with the cross, beyond everyone. The rain starts to fall now at the Estadio Alfredo Di Stefano. April showers, but not dampening the confidence with which Real Madrid are playing.
been quite a while since they've played with as much attacking verve as this. Maybe that's down to Marcelo featuring in this game, because that's exactly what he's about.
Here is Marcelo finding Isco, nice pass. Asensio, clever flick to Benzema, come back to Asensio, doesn't reach Lucas Vazquez. But Asensio will try again now. Modric. Vazquez, four in the middle, cross towards Benzema, who will feel he could have made more of that. Maybe just unsighted by the defender Oliveira backing towards him at the last split second. But he didn't make a clean connection on what was a really decent chance for a player of Benzema's quality in the air.
He's not bad, is he, in the air? And that's just a poor effort. Maybe he's getting all these shots out of the way before the big games come this week.
Eibar under continuous pressure at the moment. Play down at the other end now, and they try to exert a high press, but Modric so classily moved away from that. Headed on by Benzema. Oliveira should deal with this one.
Modric is just one of the best anti-press players in the whole world. It's so hard to rob him of the ball.
Yeah, and when we were talking football.
I think so, because we saw, in the time press, people played quite standard football, and then pressing came in, and the teams that pressed best ended up with the best results. Now, what will be the next phase? And I think it will be teams work to counteract the press of the opposition. The way Madrid have set up today, players, they've got to make them quite good at that, because they can all float about playing different roles and just trying to avoid Eibar's press, and it's worked really well here.
Here's Porto avoiding Marcelo, working his way down the right for Pedro Leon. Not bad cross. First time we've really seen him put the ball inside the area from open play, but Casemiro bringing it forward for Isco, who's dispossessed, but it falls to Asensio, and got the confidence of Marcelo to sweep that first time. Placed in front of. Now with Inui, first time he's really featured. Finds Rafa Suarez, but Modric, he's not just good on the ball, he works so hard. And he blocked the cross that's led to this counter now for Vazquez. Running to the edge of the area. Asensio leaves it for Benzema. Game's got really stretched at the moment.
Lucas overran the ball there in that chance, though. He could have released it earlier to either Asensio or Benzema, and Madrid would have had another opportunity.
Happy just to slow the game down now and get the structure back as Marcelo, Benzema, Casemiro tries to square it back in the area. Some lovely one-touch passing. There's a real crispness and confidence about Real Madrid's play today.
Just in time for the big Champions League games, the Clasico, the run in. I think we might see this Madrid till now and between now and the end of the season. That'll be good news for them.
Asensio cuts it back to the edge of the area. Isco blocked by Alvarez. Now the very hopeful long-range shot taken on by Lucas Vazquez and well wide. When you say well, Garcia can't find him though, and Casemiro and Isco bring it away with Modric now. We saw Rodrigo is getting ready to come on. As Isco holds off a challenge. Gives it away though. Straight to Rafa. Inui motors ahead of him. Pedro Leon with the space down the right. Does give it to Inui in the end. He whips the cross in. And that was awkward in the end for Mendy, who had to steer it for a corner. And as much as Eibar have been outclassed in this opening hour, Rick, somehow still only a goal behind. So football can change very quickly, and they will hope that happens here as the rain really throws itself down now. Toni Kroos is coming on as well, which is great news for Real Madrid, because a couple of days ago we were thinking he was going to miss the Liverpool tie and the Clasico. Corner played into the near post by Pedro Leon, but Oliveira can't make anything of it.
Well, Madrid will hope that he gives them a bit more cruise control in this half, because with the rain, maybe Eibar starting to feel more at home, very much fitting for where they come from, the Basque Country. Like I say, and the one goal always leaves the door open for an equaliser.
I can't believe you use that. Cruise control. Come on. He is on, and he's replacing Luka Modric. One great for another. And Marco Asensio, been a great game for him as well.
Great game for him, and the only reason I can imagine he's coming off now, given how well he's played, is because Zidane wants to start him on Tuesday against Liverpool.
And there's going to be another change for Eibar as well, which is going to be a change in formation as well. Alex Garcia has been playing as an attacking midfielder in the 4-5-1 or 4-3-3, but now he's replaced, and on comes Sergi Enrique, who is an out-and-out number 9 target man. So that will be a 4-4-2 from Eibar. They are going to try to go for it in the last half hour. They don't really have much choice.
No, in fact, the way they've set up, it almost looks like a 4-2-4. Just throw everything forward and try and get the goal.
Yeah, Pedro Leon and Inui will be attacking down the wings. Obviously, the downside of that for Eibar is that they'll leave more space in midfield, in particular for Toni Kroos, who's just come on to try to exploit. As Courtois just about avoids a freakish own goal with a back pass that initially didn't look like it was any trouble at all, but he got himself out of position, and that's the closest. Eibar are looking in the game now for, finally, they haven't really been all day, but it's the last 5 minutes with the change in weather.
Well, I feel like the coach substitutes, it all happened at once.
Use the elements to their advantage. It's knocked Real Madrid out of their stride a little. And it's kept in here. It was initially, but then Inui runs for the. And Barca and Real Madrid watching on in hot pursuit of Atletico. They'll be very much looking at that game, hoping that Atletico draw points.
There's a big chance of it too, because Sevilla are a good side, and it's
to the points in the next 25 minutes or so here. They will be just 3 points behind Atletico. They'll be one above Barca. Is Kike. That's going to be a corner. I don't think Lucas Vázquez is going to keep that in. So Eibar's threat continuing to grow. Double change being prepared by Zinedine Zidane. Sergio Arribas will be coming on, young winger, and Vinicius.
a couple of good dribblers, a couple of fast players to try and hit Eibar on the counter, because they have thrown more men forward.
Here's the corner coming in, headed away by Nacho for another corner, and the danger with these in-swingers now is makes a clear decision that you can't debate, and that has been the case. Well, the first two were VAR decisions. That one was the linesman's decision, confirmed by VAR. And that's where the use of technology can help us, where it's quick, gets a right decision made with no fuss. But it remains 1-0. Eibar still have hope of somehow rescuing a point here. They're much more in the game now than at any previous stage. There's a poor cross from Inui as he slipped. Casemiro gets it away. Nacho to Arribas, who's got Vinicius making the run ahead of him, but he goes back to find Mendy. Now Arribas does find Vinicius. Kroos, Benzema and Rodrigo all making runs towards the area as Vinicius gets in a good cross. Benzema wraps up the points. Real Madrid have been under pressure for the last 10 minutes or so, but who else but King Karim is in position with the firm header to ensure for sure that the points will be staying in the capital. 2-0, 18 this season for Benzema. No chance for Dimitrovic, and the game now surely, Rick, is in the bag.
Yeah, you have to say so. Madrid survived Eibar's attack, the weather's attack, and it's a substitute Vinicius who creates it. He's staking his own claim to play in the team, and it's a really well taken header by Benzema, made up for the chance he missed in the air earlier.
And this one, there's no offside anywhere. So it is going to change now. Looks like Mendilibar hasn't been happy with the performance of his left back. Been happy with the performance of anyone in particular.
No, I mean, perhaps Dimitrovic can escape that quickly, but everyone else really hasn't delivered.
Real Madrid have also made their 5 changes. Modric, Isco, Asensio, Marcelo and Benzema being given a break for the latter stages. Here's Rodrigo, plenty of players forward. Vinicius mishits the... It's cleared away. The way the game looks at the moment, Eibar looking rather bedraggled. Real Madrid could have more chances to make it a bigger winning margin in the last few minutes.
I'm sure the defensive half of the team is just thinking, well, let's just protect this and keep our clean sheet. Whereas the attackers, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Eibar, are like, let's get some goals under our belts.
Especially as you made the point earlier. There's a bizarrely terrible cross there by Inui. Especially as you made the point that they're all playing for places with huge games coming up. They want to be starting, not on the bench, and Rodrigo and Vinicius in particular will be pushing for starts. So they want to do everything they can to catch the eye. Mariano as well, who's come on for Benzema. He's not going to start, but he wants to be towards the forefront of Zidane's thinking if they're chasing goals. Here's Arribas. Back to Cruz. Arribas looks for the return flick from Rodrigo. Mariano can work it on for Lucas Vazquez. Gets away from Cote, who comes back to make the challenge and is behind for a goal kick in the end, much to the disappointment of Lucas Vazquez.
I wonder if he should have hit that cross in earlier than he did, instead of trying to beat his man. You can see what he's trying to do.
Not sure whether he's appealing for a corner or a penalty there.
Well, he's not getting either of them, is he?
Chest down to Atienza. Now Inui. Oliveira. Closed down by Cruz. Able to evade that. And pass forward, cut out by Mendy, who's given a disciplined performance, but it's been won back here by Kike taking on the shot. The snapshot after the ball dropped towards him over the bar. No concern for Courtois. I was just saying, Rick, it's been a disciplined performance from Mendy today, but he probably won't really enjoy playing in that back 3 position because it really limits what he can do coming forward. And he's been unselfish enough, though, to play that role with discipline.
Yeah, he's been solid, and like you say, he does like to get on the ball and rampage forward. It's quite hard to stop when he's in full flow, Mendy on the left. But when we get to this point of the season where trophies are on the line, you just do what the coach says.
So Rafa Varane has been fully rested today, left on the bench. So he has a chance to be a little fresher for the game against Liverpool. El Clasico also here at the Alfredo Di Stefano. That game next weekend, next Saturday night, in fact, 9 PM kickoff Spanish time. Real Madrid against Barcelona. How are you looking at that one, Rick? What do you expect from that game?
Well, if Madrid go on to win this, as it looks like they will, and Barcelona beat Valladolid, as we expect they will on Monday, it's basically a play-off to decide who gets to fight it out with Atletico for the title. I think if any team, whichever team drops points in that game, will be out of the title race more or less, and if it's a draw, then Atletico will be in a great position.
That's the result Atletico will want, isn't it? A draw. Both teams dropping points.
There's a real danger of it too, because both Barca and Madrid are playing well at the moment, and it's hard to say one is much stronger than the other.
Real Madrid have dominated recent Clásicos, including a win at Camp Nou earlier in this season, but Barca are looking a very different proposition these days to the team that we saw in the opening weeks of the campaign when that game was staged. It will be fascinating next weekend.
Enggak, teman. Punya teman. Tadi dia lagi keluar.
Both might operate in the same system, 3-5-2.
Mau keluar ya? Tadi taruh
Who
di
would have
mana?
seen that coming at the start of the season? Ronald Koeman very much stuck with the 4-3-3 at first, didn't he? And Zidane, throughout his managerial career, has always really been a back four manager, but not in recent weeks. Eibar looking for a consolation here. Corner played in towards the far post. Headed away by Vinicius. Sent back for Kevin Rodriguez to send in another cross. Oliveira, it's down, and now a chance for Inui, scrambled away by Courtois, getting his hands down quickly to protect his clean sheet.
It looked like quite an unorthodox save from Courtois, but he knew what he was doing. I think he did that maybe to get the ball to bounce further away out of the penalty area instead of back into the danger zone.
Sergi Enrique lays it off. Alvarez forced back. Conte whips in a decent looking cross. Nacho makes sure it doesn't reach Sergi Enrique. Mariano back doing some defensive work. And then Nacho winning the foul, which will take us closer to the final minutes, just 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. Trezeguet Inui's shot. Courtois, as you say, putting his hands down. A lot of keepers would have just elected to save that with their feet.
Yeah, unorthodox, but kept it out.
There's Vinicius on the run. Gets away from Porto. Sends the cross, which might yet reach Lucas Vázquez. No, it just curls behind for the goal kick. But Zinedine Zidane, today Rick has got everything he would have wanted from this game. A win, a clean sheet, so far as well, at least, unless Eibar do manage to get one in the last couple of minutes. But perhaps most importantly, a really strong performance. They've looked like a team that is poised to go on a long winning run now.
Yeah, he'll definitely be that spirit they had at the end of last season, where they were so gritty in the final 10 weeks and just made sure they won every single match on their way to picking up the title.
They'll have to go close to that, if not do exactly that this time as well, to make up the 6-point deficit on Atletico. It's been an encouraging start to the run-in today. A minute of normal time to play. Inui with the nice ball for Kike. Cross towards Enrique, who looked like he had a chance to attack that. Nacho appealing that the decision should go his way. And I think probably he had a good point there. It seems that Sergi Enrique took the last touch. But corner is the decision.
And not something that VAR can intervene with.
Rodriguez sends it deep, headed back across goal. Kike falls over as he tries to turn it goalwards. And Mariano brings it away now. Poor pass, cut out by Porto. Oliveira onto Enrique.
And Casemiro steaming